LiberalViewer presents.
So American elections in odd-numbered years generally don't have much national significance, and while the loss of governorships in Virginia and especially in New Jersey should teach Democrats to remain vigilant, those elections turn more on local issues and the double-digit unemployment rate than anything having to do with the Obama administration or the state of the National Democratic Party. In contrast, in the special election to fill the vacancy in New York's 23rd Congressional District, when disgruntled right-wing Republican Doug Hoffman left the local Republican Party for being too moderate to run in the Conservative Party, the support he got from national Republican leaders like Sarah Palin and Tim Pawlenty may have much greater implications for the future, as David Plouffe, the campaign manager of Barack Obama's amazing 2008 presidential campaign, told NBC's Meet the Press last Sunday here.
What's going on in the special election in New York 23, I think is a remarkable phenomenon and could affect our politics for years to come.
And if David Plouffe is right and the dynamic of New York's 23rd Congressional District will continue, that's bad news for Republicans and conservatives, because last Tuesday the conservative lost after the Republican candidate betrayed by so many Republican leaders returned the favor and endorsed the Democrat who won a congressional district that includes territory not represented by a Democrat since before the Civil War. And this phenomenon of leading national conservatives coming into a district to reject the candidate chosen by the representatives of the local Republican Party in that district could set the tone for the future of the Republican Party, as you can see David Plouffe go on to point out in this clip.
A centrist Republican has been ridden out of that race. And I think what you're going to see in the coming months, if not years, is Sarah Palin. By the way, she's kind of playing the role as Pied Piper in the Republican Party, which is something I'm quite comfortable with. So Sarah Palin, the other Republican candidates who are likely to run, the Limbaughs and Becks of the world, are basically hanging a moderates need not apply sign outside the Republican National Committee headquarters.
And that moderates need not apply sign has already been hung in places other than New York's 23rd Congressional District, as Ron Brownstein, a political analyst for the National Journal, also pointed out also last Sunday, appearing on ABC's This Week with George Stephanopoulos in this clip.
The leash that the base is holding on the party is tightening, and the Palins, the talk radio, the Rush Limbaughs, the Fox, the definition of what is acceptable as a Republican, I think, is narrowing. And I mean, this does come after Arlen Specter essentially was forced to leave the party after voting for the stimulus, after Chuck Grassley faced threats, open threats of a primary challenge if he compromised with Max Baucus. In the long run, in the short run, there's clear energy here in the small government, anti-government argument. But in the long run, I do wonder about whether Republicans are going to have the freedom of maneuver they'll need to recover in some of those blue states.
And that's the key to a successful national party, the flexibility to allow local candidates to meet the needs of local constituents without being put in a straitjacket by outsiders from the national party, because otherwise, rather than regaining the majority necessary to win, Republicans may actually stay below half that level of support, as you can see David Plouffe explain again back on Meet the Press in this clip.
And for a party that has historic lows right now, because centrists and moderates are leaving them in droves, have catastrophic problems with younger voters, Hispanic voters, and African Americans. It's a very curious strategy to kind of repair this damage. So I think they're becoming more a very motivated core, but a small core of about 23% of the country.
Now, to me, 23% seems like too low a number for Republicans to sustain, especially in such harsh economic times, and especially since I've seen these kind of predictions before when both Democrats and Republicans have been down, and the pendulum always seems to swing back. But David Plouffe is one of the main architects of one of the best political campaigns in recent memory, so I want to take his analysis seriously. But I also want to know what you think. Will right-wing Republicans' ideological rigidity and intolerance lose them more elections as they did in New York's special election this week? And comparing the lessons of this week's elections for Republicans and for Democrats, which factor affecting these off-year elections will last longer? The bad economic news that hurt the Democrats, or the divisive purging of those seen as politically impure that hurt the Republicans?
YouTube, you decide.